So when making games, people usually uh, use text files in order to render their game, and each different number and letter can define a different image. The problem is that when you have one like this that kind of gets a bit out of control with all the letters and everything, it can be quite hard to imagine what the world looks like, and it can actually take a long time to make even a relatively small island. One way to make my life easier or anybody else's is to use dictionaries. And so let's say you had your dictionary and you wanted to create a map using a dictionary. Well, firstly, you would make it into a dictionary, and then what you would do is each key would just be an X and a Y um, value, and that would be equal to a certain image. So as you basically iterate through this dictionary, you render each image that this key is assigned to, and then you split the key into separate integers, and then you render them at each integer, and that eliminates having to use text files or anything. Um, and because manually writing that in would be nearly impossible, I had made a file here that allows you to do that and visually create a map. I made it in about an hour, 20 minutes. So it's not working as good as it can, and it could be better optimized, but it's at the point of where it works without too many hindrances. These files are just image files, that's all they contain. You can put whatever ones you want here, they just contain images. And you put in whatever folder you want containing the images you want. You say whether you want to do new or edit. I'll do new. I'll just call this test map. I do 16 by 16 tile sizes is what I do. I'm pretty sure that's like standard. Then you put in your image folder name. So mine's called Stone Tiles. And what the program does is it loads in your images at the top, and then you can choose whatever one you want. You can zoom in, although if you zoom in and you want to choose that, it actually draws your previous thing where that was. It's a bit weird. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to draw a map. So, I don't know, we're going to do that there. I'm only going to do like a smallish sort of map. Probably going to go that there. Go underneath a little bit, up. Try to make this, relatively quickly. There's probably some things that I could make that could make this a little bit faster. I could, maybe some hotkeys here and there to, like, I don't know, fill that area in. I could do something like that to help speed up the creation of maps. But like I said, I've recently only finished this, and I was only making this because I wanted to make a certain game, and I wanted to make that game before I finished this. So that's quite ultimately how it is. So I'll just make a small map. This last item I'm going to do, and then I'm going to bring this into an actual game. So there we are. There's our little I don't know, map, whatever. To save it, you just hit X, and it creates 3 files for you. You don't need to worry about these two. You just need this one. So you open that up. You can do Control C, which just, everyone knows what that does. And then Control V here, just paste it in. And I had made a file here which it basically allows you to use dictionaries to render a map. And I will show you. So it's not, like I said, this as well I could improve, but I just want to get my games working first. So you load in the data from the JSON file. You make a world data dictionary. You iterate through data. When it saves everything to a dictionary, it saves the X and Y position, but then it saves the name, not a loaded image, because you can't use surfaces in dictionaries. So instead, it saves the name of a file, of an image. And then what this does is it just loads in that image. Obviously converts it, but that's not needed. Same with the color key, it's not needed, but it's good for performance. You should just do it no matter what, you're using. So, and then you just get the world key, so that's the X and Y position. So we've defined the key, and then you just set that to the image, and then you can also do it to the name of the image. So let's say there was a certain image, like a few grass shards that you don't want the player to be able to collide with. You can say, like, for instance here, if the world data, the key and the second index in, or first, but the second thing in, item in, which is a name, if it's not equal to that, let's say, then put it in the rect list and then process it for physics in collisions. Then all you do is just iterate through the world data. You blit the image, which we have right here, of the world data. And what I said earlier about surfaces, you can't load them into the JSON files, but you can have them in dictionaries. And then you get the X and Y position, which is just the key. Reason why I have something called iterate data, which holds each of the keys. So at the index, at different indexes of the world data, as the key, and then each one of those holds the X and Y position. It's because I had to do a key dot split every time the program iterated through the world data, and that caused like a 50 FPS drop or something like that. I was running at 1300 frames, so frames are a little more sensitive to code and stuff like that. They can change a lot easier. They're way more flexible when they're up in the high, triple numbers. So 50 frames might only actually be like 10 or something if you was running at 100 frames. But either way, 10 frames, 50 frames, same thing. I had to do the key dot split. So to save some frames in the init function, I made an iterate data. I iterate through world data, and then I just split each key, turn them into integers, and then defined a new segment of a dictionary with those positions. And that's basically how it works. You can also convert the tile to a different tile size if you want as well. And so I've copied and pasted it into there. So if I now run this, as long as I don't, right, I fell past it, okay. So here we are, the map that I had made. Oh, well, okay, I was meant to have a different sort of tile there, but whatever. The map that I had made is right here. The one that I had made in the other program. It's right here. It's really quite cool. So instead of having to look at a load of numbers and visualize what the map will look like, well, instead, I already know what it looks like, and God damn it, I fell. Um, now there is a performance difference. If you only have a limited amount of if statements in a text file, it is faster than a dictionary. But um, once you get to like a lot of if statements needed in when rendering the map, when you use a text file, it should, I think, actually be slower than a dictionary. So a dictionary would hold up better against a text file that had a lot more if statements, because this only needs the if statements to the things that you don't want to render for collisions. But things that you want to render for collisions and render to the screen don't need if statements. So, um, you know, it's iterating through a lot less as well. It's actually um, it's iterating through the keys, and then you just grab each value from the keys. Whereas with a text file, you have a load of zeros which don't do anything. You have a load of other things which it's just pointless. I personally think this is much better because it's a lot simpler. There's a lot less here to look at. And especially when using this main this world creator file, I think I think it's a no brainer to use it or make one yourself. You can also hit edit and then you can put in the file name. What did I call it? Test map, and you can load it back up basically, and then you can go ahead delete some things if you want. For instance, okay, well I don't want that. I wanted one of those there. Now there is a problem though. Whenever like I click that, it draws the last tile that you had selected where you had picked that, because it thinks you're trying to draw it to the screen. It is kind of like strange, and it doesn't always delete things the first time you click them. Like I said, it's not finished. I'm still in the works of trying to improve it and make it better. Just not currently in the works of trying to do that. I don't know. Let's make another little island here. Let's delete those. Let's go there. Let's go for that one. It's actually quite fun as well. I was thinking of trying to make a program where you can actually animate your own characters as well, but the only problem with that is that I don't know how to save PNG images, how to make a PNG image and save it and all that. But once again, all you need to do to save that is just exit out, Control C. If you do that, Control V again, then I go into here. Oh, well, okay, well, these are the tiles that I forgot to delete after drawing, but as you can see, the map is indeed here. It's all working as it should. It's working great. For the difference in FPS that you get, especially once you get larger maps, it's just I don't think I'm ever really going to use text files again unless I don't know. I watch a video and someone finds a super efficient way of loading through them. I don't know. I don't think there is a super efficient way of loading through them. You can only really use a for loop. I don't know. Unless you integrate dictionaries with it. I don't know how it would work. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say.